And that's why we're interviewing right now. State Representative Josh Miller is back with us. Josh, how are you this morning?
Hey, good morning, Paul. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I wanted to have you on. I just wanted to offer you congratulations for your very successful legislative season in terms of the Calvin Coolidge Awards, which were this past Friday. You were honored and you received quite a large number of awards, sir.
Well, I appreciate that, and you know the recognition is appreciated, but probably not warranted. I'm just a guy from Cleveland County that believes in common sense, and I told the folks in my district when I first ran that I wouldn't try to invest their money any way differently than I would invest money in my own business. So anyhow, I'm glad it works out where the Conduit Awards can recognize that, because I don't know that we're on a whole lot of other award watch lists, but I don't really care.
That's fantastic. Yeah. So I want to kind of go over the list here with you. So first of all, you were 2019 Conduit for Commerce Calvin Coolidge Arkansas Hero, and this just was because of your very, very high score based on the Conduit for Commerce scorecard. You did very, very, very well. In the top 10, and so that's the first thing. Now, I think from our
Now,
past.
this scorecard is what you get when you vote for good bills and you vote against dumb bills, right?
That's correct, and I like your.
Okay, I thought we ought to break that down,
Yeah.
so people don't think it's really overly complicated.
It's really not, and on the dumb bills, there's kind of something that we have called the economic freedom filter. Does it grow government? Does it increase dependency on government? Does it spend money we don't have? I think we've added one about ethics and transparency. But on those, if it's going to do any of those things, you can pretty much just duct tape the no button down on your desk, right?
Right. Well, I have said that before, that in some sessions I feel like my district could be just as well represented by a piece of gray duct tape on the no button at my voting machine, as opposed to actually having me there. Because it's just been one dumb bill after another. But anyway, we had a few things that were good that we could vote for. Of course, I don't know how many of them actually passed, but anyway, I appreciate Conduit and your show and you and everybody for recognizing the ones who just tried to stay true to what we believe, and what about most of us said we were gonna, the principles we were gonna act on when we ran, and unfortunately a few Republicans hadn't stayed true to that.
So then we got another bill. You got another one because you've received this award every year you've been in office, and so there were a few others who got that as well. But that right there, I think, is a big deal because it shows that you guys have longevity. Because there are a lot of people. I mean, if we're honest, there's a lot of people who have good scores maybe for a year or so, and then when I say good scores, they're voting the way a conservative would vote, the way many people campaign, and so you've been awarded each year you've been served. So that's you, Representative Payton, Hodges, McCollum, Penzo, and Sullivan. So you're in a good group of guys there. Then we're talking with State Representative Josh Miller. Then we have the 2019 Calvin Coolidge Freedom Bill Award, and this had to do with your idea to move us from this Medicaid expansion model where we give Blue Cross Blue Shield all of our money and guarantee them a profit to a fee-for-service. And this almost passed out of committee, but it failed. But it was a great idea, and I think it's gaining traction in the interim, sir.
Well, I hope so. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, to me, Paul, you got to admit, this is hilarious. I just got an award from, this is how bad we are in Arkansas. I just got an award from the most conservative group out here for running a straight-up Obamacare bill that every Democrat on the House Public Health Committee voted against. And so, I mean, how jacked up is this? Literally, that bill was exactly what Obamacare prescribed. Arkansas thought we'd get innovative and be visionaries and all this other stuff and run out here and do the private option model. And now we've since realized that we're, screwing ourselves and the taxpayers, just and making insurance companies filthy rich.
I mean, think
off this deal.
The way you say that, Josh. I mean, you're right. It kind of hurts to hear you say that. It's kind of like twisting the knife a little bit, and the knife's already in there because conservatives lost that argument on the growth of government. But what we're effectively saying now is, in hindsight, when Republicans took a stab at growing government, they do it way more expensively than the Democrats.
Exactly. I mean, there is a reason that Arkansas is the only state in the United States of America who has expanded Medicaid by using this private option model, because it's stupid. And thankfully, the other states have realized that, and they don't do it now. Anyway, I don't know. It really does. It just sucks that we're in the shape that we're in. But like you said, I'm willing to throw up the white flag and say, hey, you know what? I'm not even talking about whether or not we should have expanded Medicaid in the first place. It's here. Let's just figure out how to do it the most affordable and efficient way possible. Mm-hmm. And guaranteeing insurance companies a 20% profit margin on every dollar that they receive is ridiculous.
And that's in the bill, right? That was in the legislation that got us where we are. And I understand maybe initially there was some pushback, maybe, sticking your fingers in your ears like, I don't hear you. But now I hear people are conceding, yes, we're guaranteeing the 20% profit. But now they're coming back and saying, but you don't understand, if we get rid of this now, it's going to cost us millions and millions of dollars. And actually the math doesn't add up to that at all if you actually sit down and put a pencil to it.
No, well, I mean, if you do real bright things like get a pen and a piece of paper or use a calculator, there's no way that you can figure out, oh, this is going to cost us money to get rid of it. That is absolute. What that is somebody who is in love with one of these two insurance companies telling you that because they don't want to be responsible for taking the gravy train away from their friends. And that's pure and simple what it is. And people to say, oh, well, we can't get rid of this because we would lose our ability to have work requirements. I just, that's ridiculous also. We can go back. Obviously, the federal government will grant waivers for about anything. And so we can go back, get other waivers, get waivers, get the work requirement waiver to go along with the traditional Medicaid expansion plan. The Trump administration would have no problem with that. Anyway, it's just the arguments against it have been ridiculous. I think the facts speak for themselves, but as always, the wheels of government turn ever so slowly when they're trying to turn in the right direction. Now we can go the wrong direction real quick, but
yeah, that's true.
But anyway, hopefully, I mean, Paul, we're talking about $400 million a year total of taxpayer money that's going to these two insurance companies for profit.
Guaranteed, right? It's guaranteed in the bill.
Yes, sir. Well, I mean, it says in the bill that they must spend 80% on medical loss. Do you think they're actually going to spend more than that just because they're gracious?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No. Anyway, they it's the right thing to do. I think it's the common sense approach. And let's quit fighting about whether or not we should have done it. And now let's just do it. I mean, it's here, and it sucks. And I hate to say I lost, but I lost. So let's figure out what we got to do to do it the most efficient way.
Well, and I think I really think it's gonna gain traction. The more, especially the longer these. I don't think it's sustainable with work requirements, and there may be a judge that overrules this other judge and says no, you can do them. I mean, that's probably likely going to happen, but it just I don't think it's I think it's just like you said, it's a waste of money. It's a giveaway to these quote private insurance companies, and it's very dangerous where you don't know where the government ends and the Blue Cross Blue Shield company begins. And it's just I think it's one of the biggest scams in Arkansas history. I really do. I think it's eventually going to be realized and recognized as that. It's just only a matter of time. And the one.
Hey, how many? Sorry to interrupt, but how many other private businesses in the state do you know of that sign up for government contracts that are guaranteed a 20% or better profit margin on day one?
I can't think of any.
Exactly. I mean, it's a joke.
Well, and I think one of the reasons you have the Democrats in this state, who didn't go along with a fee for service, which would have been cheaper, is the fact that you've got Blue Cross Blue Shield now with all of this taxpayer money and this 20% profit. And they're going to take portions of that, and they're going to use it to pay lobbyists. They're going to use it to fund political action committees that they can donate to, that are there to keep their special candidates in office. I mean, they're tithing some of that money to be nice to the politicians, and so there's people down there. There's every incentive to just not rock the boat at all when it comes to this, because they have a taxpayer-funded profit stream. And they don't want to lose it, and that's understandable. But when you look at the fact that we're having to raise taxes on the people of Arkansas right now, $70 million, $70+ million for fiscal year 2020, more coming from the people going to the government. When we have these Republican supermajorities who, passed a good income tax cut, but when you put it all together, it's a net tax increase. And I think the reason is because of Blue Cross Blue Shield. I mean, they're the ones that are in Obamacare. This whole system is the reason why they had to go back to the people, because we can't afford to pay our share.
Well, we don't need to forget our dear friends over at Centene as well.
And that's true. That's true. We don't want to leave them out.
We're in there with, well, let's give them due props. But no, you're absolutely right. I mean, you talk about, Arkansas has a history of running on a pretty tight budget, as it has. I mean, comparatively speaking to other states, we've run on a pretty tight budget, a lot of years. And so when you're talking about 40, 50 $million or more out of state revenue, you're talking about a big chunk of money, and that's a minimum on what the guaranteed savings would be out of state revenue. And it would probably wind up being quite a bit more than that if we were able to get rid of those insurance companies in that program. But you're 100% correct. Every time we need something, whether it's going to be for higher ed or for roads or whatever, I mean the automatic knee-jerk reaction is, well, let's go to the taxpayers and get more money. And it's never, let's look and see what we can do that makes the most sense, to where we can carve a little here, move some from over here, and let's stay out of the taxpayer's pocket, or not get in it any more than we already are, and let's live with what we got, and cut where we need to cut. But like I said, I mean, for whatever reason, we've got a bunch of folks that have been elected that evidently are also really chummy with Centene and Blue Cross,
Yep.
and they don't want to see the gravy train go away. And that.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but is Blue Cross Blue Shield nonprofit?
Oh, I believe they would say they are.
Yeah. All right. So that 20% is not taxed. I just want to bring that point up too. At 20%.
Oh, Paul.
I'm just I'm sorry. I'm just saying it's not a taxable thing.
Of all the rude things to point out.
I mean, think about what a scam that is. It's a taxpayer funded, guaranteeing 20% profit on this whole deal. We're paying $600 a month on people. They get paid that $600, Blue Cross, whether or not they go to the doctor or not, and then they can keep 20% for sure. And then and then they don't have to pay taxes on it. I mean, that's just insane. We're talking with State Representative Josh Miller. We're running out of time, but I want to take as much time as we have to talk about this last award that you received on Friday at the Calvin Coolidge dinner. Calvin Coolidge, the Linda Collins Legislator of the Year Promises Kept Award. You and your colleague John Payton received this award, sir. What does that mean to you?
Paul, it's a real honor to even be mentioned, to be in the running for something like that. Just with everything that's happened with our friend and former colleague, Miss Linda, and losing her has left a kind of a void with several of us, and it's been a very tough pill to swallow. And I know, one of the things that I most admired about her was just her tenacity to, she would dig in and stay dug in. And you didn't have to worry about her. You didn't have to worry, hey, are they gonna get to Linda? Are they gonna buy her off? Is she gonna change her mind? Is she gonna change her position on this issue? Is she gonna change her vote? You never had to worry about that. And there are probably less than 20 people in the entire legislature that you don't have to worry about that right now. And so, she was a rare jewel, and to receive an award just for doing the right thing. I don't think I've done anything spectacular. I haven't razzled or dazzled anybody. I mean, heck, I rarely pass bills. I've just tried to do what I said I was going to do, and it's not that complicated. And to be honored with this award, and especially with her name on it now, is truly special. It's something that I'm gonna just be. It's gonna be a lifelong honor. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't really have the words because I don't want to get choked up. But,
I understand. I understand.
But anyway, it really is. That's probably the biggest honor in my political career by far.
State Representative Josh Miller from District 66. We appreciate your time this morning, sir. Always great to talk to you, Josh.
Hey, appreciate you, Paul.
All righty.
Take care.
Yes, sir. Folks, we got to take a break. Back in just a moment.